It's still in a few weeks, but I thought it's so nice to prepare the two suitcases already. Hey guys, sorry for the lighting, it's a bit dark here, and I want to show you some books. By the way, nothing from this is sponsored. I just wanted to show you some books. I can start with the ones that give me like a lot of they give me a lot of like childhood memories because they're actually for kids. But for me, I know I'm 33 years old, but those books are very good for practicing Slovak. I mean, I am half Slovak and half Dutch for people who don't know. My mom is from Slovakia, my father is from the Netherlands. And those Slovak books really helped me to keep on practicing Slovak language because I think, like, even if you're a native speaker, if you don't practice it regularly, it might sometimes get harder to to have like conversation or sometimes like remembering words. So for me, those books are very amazing also for practicing the language. There are like more, maybe there are even more books of that, but I only found now four. The one of the crystals, I have them in probably now. I don't know if it's still in Belgium or in the Netherlands, but it's there, not in Slovakia. The another one, this one is about trees because strom in Slovak means tree. The next one is about flowers because kvet means flower and kveti means flowers. It says that the original version from UK is from 1992, long time ago. But I don't know from which year they made it. But I remember I was really young when I read this, and I was born in 93, so it might be at that time as well. Here it says 94. Oh, this is even from 93. So the one with trees is from 93. Wow. And the flowers is from 94. Another one that for me was quite challenging to see it because maybe it sounds weird, but there's some I don't know if they're bugs or something, but I don't like looking. Some of them they look a little bit creepy in my way. I mean, and I am someone who really doesn't like. I mean, I do love bees, but I don't like wasps because they might sometimes be very aggressive, and I already had a bad experience with them. I had once a blues, and I was in a store with my sister. At the time, I think it was at when I was at university, and we went to a store like randomly, like in the summer, and I had this blues with these squares, and I didn't fold it completely good. It was like open, and suddenly this wasp just flew in my boots, and suddenly I felt like wow, like wow, really really strong pain. I was like, what's going on? And then I saw like this wasp going out of my bruise, and I was like, what is that? I've never had this type of experience. Luckily, it was not an allergic reaction because it was not red or something like that. But the pain was terrible. It felt like electroshock, but then really, really strong. I don't know. It was really terrible pain. And this one is actually from which year? Let me check. Yeah, I don't like watching this book. This one is from 96. Yeah, I'll just put it there so I don't have to see that anymore. Another one that I like, it's called Titsauce. Those are animals that can also have like babies. I mean, like, dolphins also have like this. How do I say that? They're not from eggs or whatever, because birds, they have eggs, and some other animals, they have like a different type, but these are like, like also human beings have that, and also like dolphins. They're even my favorite animals there. They have the kangaroo and dolphin. This one is from 97. Love to talk about some experiences that I've had since my spiritual awakening. Probably I might have had similar experiences before as well, but I wasn't conscious about it because I think once you start like being spiritual more aware, you might maybe see or experience things that are quite hard to explain. So that's why I want to also talk about that. Most of them are very nice experiences. There were also a few moments that were quite challenging for me. I think one of the most difficult moments right after the spiritual awakening is light working. Not light working. Light working is when you want to guide people, right? But shadow work, that's what I want to say. Shadow work was quite challenging for me because I also had experiences of going back to previous lifetimes. For people who are not spiritual aware and it might like sound different, perhaps you could skip this video because I'll be talking about things that are really for me hard to explain scientifically, and maybe this can help others if they have had similar situations going on, or not similar situations, experience. I mean, but if it's too abstract, perhaps you could skip this one. Shadow work is something that it can really help you as well with growing, but it can be challenging because it depends on what you've experienced in not only in this lifetime, perhaps also in previous lifetimes. There might be some moments that were very hard for you. For me, for example, were the moments when I was at hospital or this type of things. You know, those I had to go through those things again. Like with shadow work, it actually wants to help you with what I've learned is it really wants to help you to overcome your fears, which is not always easy, and focusing more on love rather than fear. Because for me, fear really doesn't work. You know, it only wants to block my happiness. That's why I don't want to focus on that. One of the things that I still remember, and that was like in the earlier stage of my spiritual awakening, I think I just woke up too quickly. I think it's because of my energy sometimes. I really love being happy and also waking up like happily, and once I just wake up too quickly. And it's good also to take your time, especially when you feel dizzy, to not wake up completely like really fast. And I did that, and suddenly I just fell. And I remember at the time, it the only two, I think it only lasts only a few seconds, but it was not a like I mean I had that a few times in my life, but this one was very different. And I remember it was actually also special. I know it sounds weird because yeah, if someone just fall because of dizziness, it's not the best thing. But this time it was like I felt like really warm suddenly, and I saw like white light, like, and I think I also saw angels at the time. And now I know that's why for people who are not into this topics, I think they might think like, oh, Nick is crazy, but no, I really felt like I was very connected to the universe, and I think I also saw maybe also spirit guides at that time. Perhaps they just wanted to help to see like, hey, there's new chapter of life going on, and it felt really good. And yeah, this is really hard to explain scientifically, and yeah, but for me it was like, wow, that's a really really beautiful moment. What for me is good to mention is that I don't know if I've ever experienced hallucinations, because honestly I've never been drunk, I've never smoked anything, I've never taken any drugs, so I don't know how that is. But I have like a lot. I might sometimes have like daydreaming, or I have like vivid dreams. That's like normally when I sleep, I don't remember the dreams, but sometimes I do remember that. I don't know if you have that too. That sometimes you have very important dreams that your higher self wants to tell you, and I think your spirit guides too, your protecting angels too, for like bigger life changes. I had that as well. I remember that as well. This is also what I want to tell you. I remember a few years ago I was dating someone, and apparently that person didn't have good intentions, and I didn't know that until I figured out that he was doing things with other people at the same time. And yeah, but I had a dream. I remember that I felt like if I was like running the same circle the whole time. And I think because I was in this dream, I also saw like relationship or like dating, and in that dream, it's like they want to warn me that if I will be continue in this path, I will like having like repeated scenarios going on, and that was actually I think it was quite um accurate because right after maybe the same day, I don't remember. I think it was very close to the situation that happened. Is that I met a girl, like randomly, I met her like through an online app, and she talked. when we were talking, she started to talk about her boyfriend and that she was happy with him. And then she was talking more that he was from Argentina, and I was like, okay, I know a person as well, like from the same place, and also that the person also had the same name and lives quite really close to the same place where I lived at the time in the Netherlands. And then I asked her, like, hey, that's really strange because I know someone has the same name and everything like that, and from the same place, a same city. And when she showed me pictures, I told her like, "Whoa, that's the same guy." And yeah, I've never seen her anymore. I also sent him a message because I think like, wow, when you do these things, it's not good. And I also just confront him. I sent him on WhatsApp that yeah, I met her unconsciously. I didn't know that she was her boyfriend. And yeah, I've never heard about them anymore. So yeah, I think when you have really good intentions and you want to focus on what makes you feel happy, universe will help you, to it's not always easy because this was very painful what happened to me, to be honest. Like for me, this was very hard. But luckily universe helped me to get out of situations that are really not good. I've experienced also a few times with, I don't know if it's telepathy or maybe it might be communication from spirit guides. I remember one that day, like my father wanted to say something, and I had like exactly the same thing what he wanted to say, like a few seconds before he said I had it in my head. I was like, how is that possible? Like whoa, that was really like wow, really impressive. I didn't expect that to happen. I was like, wow, that's a lot. And I remember a few times um, universe also want to communicate with you, yeah, right? Your spirit guide also wants to communicate you with the different numbers. And maybe you have noticed on your alarm clock, like maybe 333, 111, and then you can look it up on the internet what it means. And I remember once, I think my mom said like 333 like that. I don't know, I think it was about €3, 33, something about food. I was like, oh, 333. That was also funny to hear. And the same, like I saw like a few days ago here in Slovakia, I saw like 5 times, like 8888, like on a number plate. I was like, wow, I haven't really seen that before, like a number plate that has like 5 times 8 like that. Other things that happen, and it's also with the dating period now as well, like I'm just talking to people and I have no idea how it will be. I will let you know how it will be because until now, online dating, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I try to keep on having faith because these days I have been feeling my soulmate very, very strong. I do also miss him. So I've seen a lot about wedding, like that on random things like that, like things, signs about wedding. Like I've seen like suddenly like videos about wedding. I've seen even billboards about wedding. I've seen a lot of things. I even had like dreams about that. That I met my soulmate.